Alright guys, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to the showdown between the Chaos Dwarves and Bretonnia. It's going to be myself with the Sorcerer Prophet facing off against Subutai, who's going to be rocking the King baby, King Lewin, ready to duel against the big Bale Taurus. Should be fun. Now, trying a super heavy duty build. Now, this build is a borderline meme build because of the DREADQUAKE border, but aside from that, there's some elements of the build that could be quite strong. So the Infernal Guard with great weapons do have incredibly high melee defense for a great weapon unit, good armor piercing, high armor. The idea is just plop these guys down on an objective and let them cut through Bretonnian infantry all day. And if cavalry do decide to attack them, they also have good AP values that can chop down Bretonnian cav. So I haven't really tried these guys before, but I think they should have some good teeth in this matchup. On the side, we have the DREADQUAKE mortar, and the reason why I have the DREADQUAKE mortar running the wrong direction right now is because, like many things in CA's games, it has some serious bugs in which it will automatically shoot even if you tell it not to. So I'm trying to get it to save ammunition and not shoot at peasants until my opponent is closer. So that is the idea. Up in the sky, we got the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire as well as Bale Taurus. Fey Enchantress, Double Paladin, King Lewin, all these things are very meta, so having the Bale Taurus characters to just disrupt and attack and duel those SEs of Bretonnia is quite good, and we do have Burning Head on our caster. Now for the Bretonnian Horde, it's just the unwashed masses, peasant mobs, spears, battle pilgrims, paladins in the back. Very typical Bretonnia. Typically Bretonnia will open up with a combination of any number of infantry depending on what you're fighting, right? I was about to say if it's ogres, well, man, ogres haven't been seen in ages, but hopefully they'll be back someday. Speaking of ogres, if you're wondering why they don't ever get played or seen in tournaments, it's because they're currently have some substantial bugs, or I don't know if it's bugs or if it's just like some weird thing, but they can't be knocked down. They're immune to staggering effects. On top of that, their units are just super undercosted, so it's a bit of a nasty cocktail. But the fight's going to start soon. We're going to move up and go for the objective here, objective 1, with our 2 Infernal Guard with great weapons. So those bad boys going to be parking here while our Bale Taurus characters are looking for prey, looking for a little something something, and now we'll do fast forwarding. The first shot from the DREADQUAKE does, you see what I'm saying? I took fire at will off, and it just automatically shoots at the peasant mob, which sucks, but now we're going to be going after battle pilgrims and archers and all sorts of things like that. The DREADQUAKE mortar, I do think when the Chaos Dwarfs first came out, I was having success against Bretonnia with it, but that was also when they had really overpowered Bull Centaur renders, among other things, right? So that was a bit of a different time. So mortar shot, let's go, baby. This is what you're here for. Oh, okay, collateral damage. Those peasants certainly very lucky that that was not a direct hit because it pretty much obliterates the unit if it is able to hit them. As far as the objective goes, we're going to be getting in initially. We have 10 capture weight, and pretty much all the Bretonnian troopers outside of battle pilgrims are expendable. And on this side, we have unwashed masses coming at us. So peasant mobs, battle pilgrims, archers going to be poking up into the Chaos Dwarf warriors and laborers I do have on that point, while the Bale Taurus characters fly overhead looking for burning heads, which you'll be seeing in just a second on the archers. So one of the better ways for Chowie to deal with archers. Granted, you could use Deathstreak rocket launchers. They're very cost effective in this matchup also. But the burning head, it just gets the job done. And it's going to be kind of circling through these spearmen and taking a very fortuitous route. There you go, not bad. Gets through those guys and takes them down to about 60%. So it's funny, that looks like a lot of damage, but because it's Bretonnian peasantry, that's really like only a couple hundred gold worth, which is pretty great. So Infernal Guard hanging out in the point. On the backside, the fighting is going to be beginning. And the DREADQUAKE mortar, finally, direct hit, baby. That's what we're here for. That was nice. And it does break that unit. And now the Chaos Dwarf warriors and laborers. We have the duel of the emaciated minions of these various empires. We have the goblin laborers and peasant mobs. I think peasant mobs might win that. I don't know who wins that. Something you need to test. But Chaos Dwarf warriors obviously will bash these peasant mobs. And up on the objective, we do have a bit of a duel. Paladin moves in, gets a little bit crazy, Henri Le Massif, and we do counterattack with our 2 characters. So the Bale Tauruses do bring him down pretty low, but there is going to be a countercharge coming in from Grail Knights as another bombardment from the Monstrous Impact. Yes, the firepower of the DREADQUAKE mortar. So I'm going to be retreating back now, and like I said, I do have these Infernal Guard with the Great Open, so they should fight the Grail Knights adequately well. The Grail Knights, of course, can push through them with Lewin's support, and the Knights do penetrate through the ranks. But they're going to be taking some hits, and on top of that, we have the Bull Centaur Renders coming in with their Great Opens, which would lose the Grail Knights if they both charge each other, but in sustained combat, the Bull Centaur Renders will actually do adequately well. They have a nice anti-large bonus and hit very, very well. So, Infernal Guard on this side, going to be meeting peasants. Lewin getting a little bit beat up here, down to about half health, so overall the initial fighting goes very, very well for us. I would say we took a bit of an advantage there, damaging both the Grail Knights as well as Lewin. But we're always in a little bit of danger with a very elite army like this of losing out on the points, right? So I didn't bring any Hobgoblins, which I was kind of regretting. I was like, maybe they'd actually be good in this situation, which is something you don't hear terribly often. But we do have the Hobgoblins here, the Chaos Dwarfs, and the Laborers holding on to the side point here. Definitely could use a Burning Head, but those bad boys will have to hold to the best of their abilities. Now, being swarmed by the tide of Bretonnians. The Infernal Guard obviously chopping through these peasants, and I was going to say, they couldn't have taken this kind of damage from the peasant mobs, right? Who's damaging them? It must have been some sort of witchcraft. Burning Head going down to the Battle Pilgrims brings them down a little bit as another monstrous impact. There it goes, baby. Sending a message, if not doing much, because that was probably about 25 value worth of damage. It really lets your opponent know that you're there for business. So Chaos Dwarf Blunderbuss is called into the back, and more Chaos Dwarf Warriors going to be hustling up to the point. Unfortunately, I started to lose this one. These Chaos Dwarfs were just being overwhelmed, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8 capture weight here for the Bretonnians, plus another, I think, 2 or 3 from the Grail Relique. So he currently has me out capped, and my other Chaos Dwarf's going to be trying to get there, but that felt pretty bad. Losing that one out early, not good. So another bombardment going down against the Men-at-Arms. Lewin diving into the backfield once again, and now there's just basically a big ugly pit fight. We have the Infernal Guard and the Bale's horses flying around, the Bull Centaurs with their big cleave and axes, and it is just absolute anarchy. Very, very hard to tell what's going on in this situation. But nonetheless, the Sorcerer Prophet getting a little bit smashed up. Lewin took quite a bit of damage too, but you have to remember Lewin auto-heals himself. And so too does the Sorcerer Prophet when spells are cast, but this Lewin, he is certainly taking no prisoners here as the Bretonnian caster continues to cast some sweet spells using Earthblood and Flesh to Stone. Very cool usage. Chaos Dwarfs do have a fair amount of magic damage, but that can be nice. For example, Bull Centaur Renders, they do not do magic damage. So if you cast a Flesh to Stone on your Grail Knights, they're going to be getting, a massive amount of ward save. Like, I think 75% damage reduction against the Bull Centaurs, which is super strong. So I really, really like that combo from Subutai here. And he does equalize the value a little bit as the Infernal Guard keep going. Another bombardment! Peasants getting nuked into oblivion there, so those Peasant Bowmen do go down. We're finally able to recapture our back objective, while still maintaining our points lead, but probably not for long. So another Chaos Dwarf made it. Hobgoblin Riders came out of the Vanguard, and I thought about sending these Chaos Dwarf Warriors up to steal this back point, but with some Knights of the Realm able to intercept them, that felt like a bad idea. I was like, okay, let's not pump those Dwarven legs too hard. Let's go to our back objective, restabilize this, and hopefully win this blob fight here. So now we got some guns online. The old Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses, they pack a pretty mean punch, and the Bale Tor is trying to hang in here, but unfortunately my Sorcerer Prophet is getting bullied really hard. And it's mainly just Lewin doing it. I was very surprised. I thought I would be anchoring a little bit better. My Bull Centaur Render is actually getting smashed a bit by the Companions of Quenelles. So he calls in the Elite Anti-Large Cav. And he's able to get through a lot of my mass, including the Bale Tors here. So things went pretty rough. The Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses trying to shoot at King Lewin, but he's able to put the moves like Jagger on me. And I was really hoping we would blunderbuss him in the face and save my Lord, which would pretty much put us in a decent position in this game. But if I get my Lord chased off, that is going to be a big, big hill to climb back from. That's going to be very tough. So we'll keep tabs and see if Lewin is able to get the job done. On this side, the objective owned by Bretonnia, which really is not good for me. The Chaos Dwarfs are fighting hard, but again, a little bit of an overcosted unit. Knights of the Realm won't do too much against them. They will struggle against the armor, but nor will my Chaos Dwarf Warriors do much against the armor of the Knights of the Realm. Very much going to be a wet noodle contest. Calling in more Hobgoblins, just trying to get capture weight there. Pretty much a desperate play. Bale Taurus does come back, and unfortunately King Lewin is able to chase off my Bale Taurus. So the Sorcerer Prophet's going to be gone. I still had like 30 or 40 wins of magic, which felt pretty bad there. So we're going to be suffering in the pits of hell in that regard. Now, over here, we get more shots from downtown. The dreaded DREADQUAKE is going to be going after the reinforcements. And we did hit them the first time, which was good. Another shot. Come on, slow them down. And it does actually slow them down by 60% for 10 seconds. So, hey, that's not bad at all. I mean, honestly, the DREADQUAKE hasn't been doing terribly this game. It's up to about... It's paid for itself, which is great. I mean, how often do big fancy centerpieces pay for themselves, right? It's not terribly common. So I was very happy with its performance here, as it is going to be using all of its ammo. And really the big kind of stinker for me was losing my Lord. That has been the big problem. But in the backfield, we get some good engagements. The Bale Taurus rallies with some Chaos Dwarf Warriors, is able to beat up Henri Le Massif and also chase off the Companions. So now I need to stabilize these guns and get these guns back online. And here we have the Grail Knights trying to finish off the DREADQUAKE, but realizing it's out of ammo, they're going to be ditching it, which is good for me because then I can unsummon it and get a bit of a refund. So out of desperation, we call in the Death-Tree Rocket Launcher in the back, and I'm going to be going for the kill on Lewin. He's approaching his healing cap here. Bale Taurus character not doing bad. Another missile coming in from the Death-Tree Rocket, wearing down this bad boy. So currently he is certainly on fire, not having the best of times. But Bretonnia has been able to defeat my elite Dwarfs here. Felt pretty bad. You know, they got worn down and honestly didn't do too good in the value game. Looking at these Infernal Guard, only 800 value. They only cost about 1150, so it's not like a complete disaster in terms of infantry performance, but I really thought they would trade better against the Bretonnian troopers. It makes me think that maybe the shielded variant would be a slightly better call here. So Bale Taurus character, or the Bale Taurus, not the character, does get routed. Henri Le Massif comes back. He's back from the dead once again. And here in the backfield, the Death-Tree Rocket Launcher is going to be run down by these cavalry. So we see a massive horde of Knights of the Realm coming, but I do have an ambush in the back pocket, so here comes another Deathstreak rocket. You gotta say, the Chaos Dwarf animations are pretty cool. But Bale Horses will come out of reserve. Not Bale Horses. It's Bulls and Bales and all sorts of monsters. But the Bull Central Renders are going to be cleaving these Knights of the Realm asunder. Should be a pretty favorable fight. Granted, the Knights of the Realm still doing well considering they didn't even get the charge here. Lewin down to a lower amount of health. And the Elite Chowies coming back fighting in the fourth quarter. We got these Chaos Dwarf Warriors going after the Spearmen at Arms. And not bad at all, but Questing Knights are going to come in and clear those bad boys up. And we've lost this point. Basically, I'm not going to insult the intelligence of all of you. This game at this point is basically over. I don't have the time to come back, so we'll just kind of do a little bit of a post-game breakdown here. So overall, I was pretty happy with the DREADQUAKE's performance. My Lord Micro was a big variable because the value was actually pretty close. But the fact that Lewin was able to really disrupt and keep causing havoc, whereas my Lord got routed, losing me my magic as well was the breaking point. So I do ultimately think this game was winnable, but when my Lord broke, Chaos Dwarves are a faction that really relies on their big SEs and trains. But yeah, they're kind of a cheesy faction also because their low tier stuff isn't very good. So they really rely on the SE micro. And since I blundered it and Subutai was able to outplay me there, it really cost me quite a bit. So we maneuver over, we threaten, capturing our home objective, but that's going to be it. GG, well played. Fun match for sure. And it's cool to explore different things. Like I had been wanting to try the mid tier kind of semi-elite Chowie infantry. And though their performance wasn't bad, the blasting charge variant would be good. And though the Deathstreak or the DREADQUAKE wasn't bad, I think the Deathstreak would accomplish a similar amount of damage, to be completely honest, and having that missile launcher early could have helped me win the duel against these characters. So let's go to the drawing board and do a build breakdown, and I'll give you guys a more tournament-savvy build. This is more experimental, but I'm going to do what I think would be stronger in like a tournament setting. Lewin was a Chad, of course, always a beast, and the rest of the Bretonians, the Girl Knights, got 24. Love to see it. That was really cool. GG, well played. And now let's go take a look at the breakdown here, and let's find it. I can't do skirmish versus AI. You got to make custom lobbies here. So the dreaded password of 123. All right. So where are we at? And looking at the build here for the Chowie, I think the Bale Astrogoth could be pretty good too, though. He's very menacing. He has Flamestorm. I think the Elite Dwarves, though, are pretty good. I did like that a lot. I almost think just going with like 2 of those and then the Blazing Beards of Basharik to hold your back objective could be very nice. On top of that, I think I would want some Cutthroats just to like contest peasants and give me like some real capture weight. Now, aside from this, you're going to want 2 Bull Central Renders, I think, in reserve. I think those are pretty much an auto take. As far as the rest of the army goes, you could go for the big boys. The big Carrick Bale Taurus like Goon Squad is good. Really just comes down to your micro and execution. Astrogoth is good too, though, but that totally changes the dynamic of the build. The thing about having the big Bale Taurus character, the Sorcerer Prophet, is it gives you the means to defend your backfield pretty well. Burning Head, I think, is the way. I think it's very strong. You could throw in a Flaming Sword of Ruin too. I don't think that'd be bad, to have in the back pocket. All right, we pop that. So now we have our elite opening here, and we just like move up. These guys will hold for years. 64 melee defense, they'll annihilate pretty much all Bretonnian infantry except Foot Squires, which they'll still win, but it's harder. And the blasting charges, I think, will be very clutch. So I think we go that route initially. Always want a couple of Hobo Goblins. I think they're going to be super essential. In reserves, we have a Deathstreak rocket launcher. You could even whip out a second one, but I think that's going to be fine. And then from here, we just get like the Flamethrower train is really good, but probably just save money on a Skullcracker to go a little bit wider on our build. And from here, we can throw in a Chaos Dwarf Warrior Great Weapon, maybe cut you and get another Chaos Dwarf here. I like that. That seems a little bit cleaner. And for the main build, we would just go a little bit of chaff. Just something to clash with the peasant mobs and, live their best life. Okay, we have a little bit of money left. Is there anything we would want to do here? I don't think so. I like this build. Now, the way you build Chaos Dwarfs against Bretonnia is going to be massively dependent on the map you pick. So this build is for the map we just played. It's for more of like it's more of an elite style one, but yeah, I think it's good. I think the Ironsworn would hold and eventually win me that objective. And then I just got to play more cautious with these Sorcerer Prophets and get the Deathstreak out online earlier. Magma Cannons could be feasible also. And the Flamethrower train is really strong. I mean, part of me thinks like for roasting down peasants, it could be better. So what would we do in this case? Yeah, cut that and then just get like one of you. Both are viable. Anyways, GG, well played. See you guys next time. And you guys all take care of yourselves.